G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This won't be my knackers yard, this will be my garden, or at least a corner of it. And this is possibly the shonkiest setup you've ever seen for an attempt at learning how to weld. But I'll show you what I've got. It might be windy and noisy, I apologise, but I don't want to do this in my garage for a very simple reason. And that's the fact that if I set myself on fire, I've got a nice big open stretch there to which to roll and try and put myself out. I've got my really cheap MIG welder. I can't remember how much I paid for that, but it certainly wasn't much more than 100, if that. No, I think it was about 70 odd quid. But anyway, it's cheap and crappy flux core. And I know I should have gone, you know, it's wireless, it's gasless. I can't even get the fucking thing open now. That's difficult with one hand. Yeah, so it's the simplest setup in the world. But you've got to learn somewhere. On my earthing side, I have my manhole cover. I haven't stolen it. You can tell by the shape of it. That's the one I mentioned in my last video. It was there's a tree knocked down over the road and it shattered it. So I've nicked a big chunk out of it. I'm using it as an earth plate, so I've effectively just cleaned it off a little bit so I can get decent connection. Now, as far as medium's concerned, a bit of B&Q steel and a bit of pipe, because that's probably closer to what I'm doing, and it's the thin edge stuff that I'm less concerned about, less sure about. There we go. I've got you set up on a chair. This is my painting table, this is my garden. It is properly a shonky setup. The one half decent bit of kit that I got is a half decent helmet. I mean, that's a Chinese special. I can't tell you how much it cost, it was a Christmas present. But holding that one in front of your face is just, I need the hands, plus this is self-darkening, so it's considerably better. You can actually see through it, and in fact, I don't even know if I can show you if you can see through it. There we go. You can actually see through the bloody thing, which you can't on the one that it comes with. I've got my grinder, I've got my cutting blade on it, I've got my paint remover that I've used there, and I've got the world's crappiest flat disc, but that's dead. Frankly, I should throw it away, but I haven't replaced it yet, so it's better than nothing. Now, what I plan to do is practice and have a go. So before I go onto the frame, and sorry for those of you that may have joined just for a welding tutorial, then please go somewhere else. I've had various little goes at it and I've cocked it up, so I'm trying to just do it from scratch. So with no outcome, I just want to stick two bits of metal together, and then I'm going to try something similar with tubes afterwards. I'm just trying to build up my knowledge a little bit and practice. For those that are more regular viewers will know that I do have a frame for a Phaser 600 that I've now named Tango that I need to weld on bits of the frame. I've bought the frame with a different seat on the back, with a more calf/scrambler seat on the back. It needs welding together. I didn't want to go straight to that, because if I cock that up, I've cocked it up. I'd rather cock this up a few times first. Now, what I'm going to do is learn. I'm just going to grab one of my daughter's lovely pencils. I've deliberately done this with a nearly empty house. Mrs. and two of the kids are away. Eldest is in, he's under strict instruction to come running if he hears me screaming. He's very excited because it might be his first opportunity to drive a car, albeit on the way to a hospital. I've told him to grab the camera. If for no other reason, then I can show it to the doctors. Hopefully before he puts it on, try not to laugh, which I think is his main goal. So what I'm going to try and do is, so I've got it earthed, I've cleaned this off so it works. It's not plugged in, he says confidently. No, it's not plugged in, so I can show you the cumulative knowledge that I've managed to build so far. I need to move that across because I haven't got full range, but effectively that's as much as I ever want sticking out. So in fact, that's probably a little bit too much. and I'm just going to try and tack these together. Now logically I would say, you can see the end of the, and it's not turned on. Logically I would have gone dink, dink, and that's what I've done before, but it seems to have just burnt through everything I've done. So what I've learned from various videos is to try and drag, so warm, drag, so it's more like a sewing stitch I suppose, but at least attack it together first and then try and drag it across. Again, assume knowledge from others. Directly up is bad. You can push, so you can go at an angle and push across, but it seems that for gasless flux core welding, which is what I've got here, the advice that I've seen from more is to drag, which is what I'm going to try and do. Any success I get, I do not know. Right, let's get you out of my hand and on the stand, and we'll see how we get on, and you can all have a fucking good laugh. Right, so that's you perched up there. I'm not going to lie, I am legitimately nervous about this. I don't like being on fire. I also don't like things that I'm horrendously bad at, but the way you stop being horrendously bad at things is to try and get better. And the best way to get better is practice, I think. Right, it's a lovely shiny, it's a lovely bright day, so I can actually see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to try and do some tacks. So, trying to do it at the right angle. Whoa, that's a bad connection I've got there. That just pushed me out. Where's my snips gone? So let's go for a bit more power. This seems to have 4 power settings, this. And that wire is too long. Right, so let's try that again. Most of that is missed, so I need to be more accurate. One piece in the middle. Right. Even with this better helmet, it's a bastard to see what you're actually trying to achieve. Just grab my other glove while I'm manhandling stuff. Because as funny as it would be for you to see me burn myself, kind of not the point. Oh, look at that, sun's come out now, I can actually see. I would be better with magnets holding stuff together, but I haven't got any yet. It's holding together. As far as little tack's concerned, that's not bad. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do more. I don't know why I'm fucking pointing at it, you lunatic. What I'm going to try and do is join together the tacks. So the last one I saw said about building it together so it's tight and then moving across the top. So let's try and put some more tacks on it, and then I'll give it a damn good rub off. So let's go. Right, so I'm trying to keep it as uniform as I can do. Just take my helmet back a bit. So obviously I'm not hitting it with a hammer, I'm just moving it with my hands, but that actually seems quite well stuck, he says, in a probably not particularly good welding phrase. You can tell I'm nervous about this. We've got beer on the go, which probably isn't a good idea while you're doing this, but it's just the one, Mrs. Wembley. Oh, you've got to be really old to get that reference. Right. Let's see if I can start joining these a little bit. So, like I said before, I'm going to try and drag, so, or pull, I think they call it, and keep it in a straight line, see what I end up with. Right, that wasn't particularly consistent speed, I could feel that. I was very juddery. I think the weld that I ended up with. So it's not hot, I just decided to sing to you. I was held together. Trying to find the fucking bright side. Yeah, you can see how bad that is. So I've got two bits of metal that are stuck together in quite possibly the ugliest way. I was really stop and starty there, mostly because it was scaring me, frankly. I think what I'm going to try and do, now they're stuck together, I don't need to do the tacking, I don't think. I also want to try this stuff, see if I can get rid of some of that spatter. I don't know how to use this stuff. That's all just burning straight off. Maybe I should have put that on first. Right, I'll let that cool for a bit. See, this is warts and all. I am learning as quickly as you are laughing at me. I'm going to let that cool a bit and then try that again, and then try and do just a more consistent speed. Now, the reason I've chosen this nice chunky shit is that my principal effort that I've had, it's not burning me, but it's not cold by any stretch of the imagination. The principal problem that I've had is burning through. And I think that's by putting too much heat in places where there isn't a lot of metal. So when I'm joining metals, I haven't really got an example now, when you're joining metals, rather than putting it on the gap in the middle, which would seem the logical thing to do, apparently you do it off the edge and drag across, off the edge and drag across. That's what I was doing fundamentally wrong. Now, I don't know if that's cold enough for this spray yet. If it's not, I'm just going to do it without and see what happens. Yeah, it's just burning it straight off. Oh well. Right, well, sod that. Let's just see if I can be more consistent in my speed and end up with a better weld. Let me just chop the end off that rather than burn it off. I'm quite happy with my speed. I say I'm quite happy. I've got no fucking idea and no frame of reference either. Let me just try and get things shot for you and comfortable for me. So what I'm going to try and do is that. So I'm going to lean on my hand. That one's not getting hot. I'll go without. If I burn myself, I won't do it again. It's one way to learn, isn't it? Right, so let's go. better, Matt. Where's your brush gone? Get rid of the slag off the top. I mean, I've got a more consistent line, a bit on the wobbly side, but I think what I'm going to do is just let that cool. Have at it with a angle grinder, and just to see what it looks like. I mean, it's that standard, you know, a grinder and paint mates with a weld or a ink piece, but I just want to see what it tidies up like, because frankly I'm not that bothered about the opening shots. It's what it looks like in the end that I'm concerned about. So let me get my grinder out and I'll see what I can do, and let that cool, and see just what we end up with. Right, so back in the room as the wind really picks up, probably ruining my audio. That was my first attempt. Pretty shit, but the metal stuck together. I don't know what penetration's like, but a bit spotty and dotty. Second attempt with a bit of clean-up. It's actually, I'm reasonably happy with that. I know it's shit, and I know people are going to say it's shit, but I think that controlling the speed a little bit more, that's still hot. I don't want to hold it for too long, but it is handable, whatever, touchable. I think what I'm going to do is have another go, see if I can get it better. So I'm going to cut another couple of bits out of my and crack on. Full disclosure, you might see them in the background. No, you can't. Let's just pull you out a bit. No, wrong way. Full disclosure, my flat disc was crap. I did manage to find a faulty grit that's better. It's still crap, but the main thing that I found, and you know me, I'm not a big health and safety guru / Nazi. Flapper disc on metal. I'm outside and that was still loud. I don't have noise-induced hearing loss, but I'm going to have it at some point in my life. So I have been strongly advised by the doctors to wear ear protection when I'm doing loud stuff, which I generally listen to, apart from when I've stood next to bikes, I suppose. But yeah, that was getting quite painful. So let's cut them. Cut another couple of bits. I'm going to have another go. Right, let's go for much the same. I'm going to try some of this anti-splatter shit just to see if it achieves anything. No idea. It was just going cheap and I was in the shop at the time. Right, so let's go for a little bit too long for me. Let's go for I think the tacks to start with. That worked quite well last time. Well, it worked. Let's try turning the welder on first, might be a good idea. I've got a little bit of bare skin there. My outfit might want a bit of rethinking next time. Right, I'm trying to keep this angle right, aren't I? So let's just take the clamp off. It's not needed now. Right. I don't have the bright sunlight on it anymore, which is a shame because that really helped. Let's go. Let's give it a go, see what happens. fact, let's just up the wire speed a little bit and the heat, because it is quite thick metal. Just check what you can see. You can roughly see what I see. Let's give it a go. So dry run first, and after that, how am I best doing this? Rolling off my hand. Twat. I missed. Better, more consistent. I've got a bit juddery at the end there, but actually I started reasonably strong. So if you look at if I just put my hand over the bad bit, it's not too bad. It gets worse at the end when I ran out of place to rest my hand. So, same again on the other side. I'm just going to do another dry run. So what I'm after is, yeah, it's when I lose something to lean on, it all goes a bit Pete-tong. So let's just push it up there a little bit. Can you still see? Whoop. Push my camera over. Just lost the foot to my leg. Are you going to stay? See, this would be a damn sight fucking easier to do if I wasn't trying to do it in front of you. Stay, you bastard. And my gun's all wrapped around the leg. Right, that'll do. Just trim off that end because I caught the trigger then while I was trying to catch you. So it's about 5mm I seem to be settling on here. Ooh, it's hot under this fucking helmet too. Right, so let's try. So I'm doing a cross and a roll and a roll and a roll and a roll. Right, let's do that. Bit wobbly in the middle. Can I go over again? There's no reason I can't. Right, let's get the old badger out again. Metal on it this time. Right, I'm so nervous this is making me want to pee. So I'm going to take a piss break and let whilst that cools. I could piss on it, that'll cool. No. I'm going to take a piss break while that cools and then have at it with the old flappy disc and see what we end up with. Right, so there we go, that's it. Tied it up. I haven't done it all the way up because it's just labouring a point, but that's not too bad. I'm on the, so that was attempt 3, that was 4 I suppose, so 3, yeah, still way too hot to grab with anything bar a gloved hand. That's getting there, it's still fucking warm. I think I can get away with that. Yeah, still warm. I think let's get away with the ball. And certainly nothing that a bit of flour on top won't do. Now the bit that really, I'm chuffed with that. I'm chuffed with that. It's not great, and I'm sure people will criticise, but you know, for first dibs at. Now what I'd like to do is see how strong they are by sticking them in a vice and beating the fuck out of them with a hammer, but frankly the vice that I've got, if I stuck a bit of chocolate in and hit it with a hammer, it would probably destroy the vice, so I haven't really got the opportunity to do that. But I'm really quite happy that they are nicely fused. Right, so I can at least make a half-assed job of doing some heavy bar, but that's not what I'm doing mostly. I'm mostly doing tubes. Now what I've done on one practice one with an old bit of work is just cut it through and had a go, but it's just burnt straight through, so that's going to be my next challenge. Let's give that a go. Right, a little bit of a dick dance there because I'm desperately short of battery power, so just to check you on charge for a little while. So moving on from what should be relatively simple, i.e. 14mm steel, which, top tip, stays hot for a long time. Ask me how I know. Moving on to something probably a little bit more realistic, I suppose, because you don't go chucking a lot of 14mm steel on bikes. Some tubing, and I think this is 1.5. Let me check. Yeah, 1.5mm. There you are. Yeah, there you go. So something that's I'm probably going to be using more now. I should be using magnets to hold stuff together. I don't know what I've torn that out of. Torn it out of something and it's shit, but it's better than nothing. Now the top tips were to try and minimise the gaps between, which I'm trying to do, but I'm struggling at the same time as I'm trying. That's not right because the lines aren't marking up. Ah, that's got it. That's got her. Where's those lines going? I found a nice striation line that I will try and meet. There we go. That's probably a terrible view for you, but it's a good one for me. So screw you. Slightly more of a priority that I can see than you, but we'll give it a go. Now, because it's thinner metal, and apologies if the wind's completely fucking this up, because it's thinner metal, I have dropped, roll your sleeve down, no, you fucking moron, I have dropped it down to its lowest setting. But we shall see. Now, I would normally, let me find a better way of demonstrating this. Got to be a better way. When in doubt, when you can't do micro, do macro. So you've got those two surfaces together, which is what I've got there. Now, what I've tried to do before is concentrate on the gap in between, thinking I'm trying to glue those together. But because you're hitting such a small area, particularly with such thin metal, it's just burning through every time I try. Now what it looks like I should be trying to do is, let me see if I can you see that? Yeah. What I should be trying to do is remembering where I've put a fucking pen. Oops, I've just knocked my microphone off. It's all going wrong. No, I've got a pencil, that'll do. What I should be trying to do is that. So rather than what I have been doing as a spot on the middle, is to try and get it building and then pull it across. And that is, you know, attack. Get it building and pull it across. And that's what I'm going to try and do. What I have been doing is just concentrating on the gap, and it just burns through. And then you end up trying to fill it, and it's just a fucking mess. Right. That's my theory. It's just struck me how much I seem to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't at all. But we shall fucking give it a go, shall we? Where's my snippers? I've just got too much wire hanging out there. Well, I think I've got too much. I seem to be aiming at sort of 5mm to a centimetre sticking out, which seems to serve me. I don't know if you can see, and at the moment I'm not too fussed. There we go. Right, that's one dot. El Magneto holding it together. So I'm just trying to sweep across that gap a little bit. The magnet's done its job for now. Thank you, buddy. So you can do its job more by holding that up, because I'm on a slight slope. I should be in, if I had a little bit of a angle in here, angle line, I'll be fine, but I haven't got any. That was ridiculously expensive, angle iron was. So I'm just kind of sweeping across that gap. I'm doing it dead on again, aren't I? I'm doing it from a slight angle. I currently have no idea whether or not this is just burning the lens on my camera either. So, can you see what I see? So I've kind of got enough tacks to hold it together. It's warm, but it's not going to burn me. It can hold up to as much pressure as I'm willing to put on it at the moment. But what I'm going to try and do now is just go round. And I say try, because this is where normally, I say normally, like I've done this a lot, this is where the last time I tried it, i.e. the first time I tried it, I just fucking burnt through it. Let's give it a go. Right, how am I going to do this? So dry ram, I'm going to go sweep across, turn it round, sweep across. Whoa, fuck that up. Massively fucked that up. It just shot past because my aim was wrong. Cool, I can tell this is thinner. I'm not entirely convinced I didn't completely miss then. This is a lot harder. Sorry, this is a lot more difficult. I'm having to concentrate a lot more. I don't think that's 100% bad. It's not 100% good either. But, oops. Just take my helmet off. Thank you very much, family. That was a lovely present. I'm just gonna turn that off. Save the planet and all that. I'm going to put my the better of my two shitty flappy discs on. You must get some more on that, remember that, please, because it'll annoy you if you don't next time you go to use it. see if I can just clean this up a little bit. Right, don't forget your ear defence. You don't have to wear it, but I suggest you do. Oh. Do you know what? I am really quite happy with that. Fucking really happy. See if that was a fluke. Where's the rest of my pipe gone? I'm going to see if I can do it again. You know what? I'm actually pretty happy with that. I need to be careful how much I'm grinding out of it because it's starting to look a little bit wibbly wobbly. But that's actually, I did have one little burn through, but rather than doing excuse me, rather than doing what I was doing before of trying to dab on the hole to fill the hole, I was off the edge, dragging it across, off the edge, trailing it across. And that's what I've been doing wrong. I've been trying to tap onto the hole rather than pull across it. Oh, I'm happy with that. Right, so what? There will be people that have welded before, that they weren't the first time. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, bugger me. What was I saying? There will be plenty of people that have done this before many times, that will look at what I've achieved there and laugh and scoff and quite rightly take the piss. But frankly, that's the first time I've done it. Really? Well, no, wrong. Talking up my arse. I've half done. That's the third time. So the first time was fourth. First time was when it was brand new. It just came out of the packet and I stuck 2 bolts together. Well done me, in any random haphazard way. Second time was putting a stem on a side stand, which was by a stem, you know, your foot hook, which was the end of a screwdriver, which was just bang it on, and frankly it was 2 big chunks of metal. There was no way I was ever going to burn through it. Third was a disaster when I tried on an old bit of Yamaha frame, and this is 4, and I'm quite content with the results actually. I'm actually now less scared. Don't get me wrong, I'm still scared, but I'm now, sorry, that wasn't because it was hot, I just found something sharp. I think if I can do that on the frame, I'm alright, because I can filler and paint, etc, etc. I can make that look good. That is pretty fucking solid too. So yeah, I'm well happy. Right, next vid I'm going to try it on a frame when things are going to go fucking horribly wrong. Right, thanks very much all. No, it's certainly not a welding tutorial, but I've let you watch me learn, and hopefully someone might learn something alongside me. Thanks very much all. I'm going to turn that the nice way so it looks better. There we go, that's better, and that one. Thanks very much all, warts and all, as ever. Catch you later. Ta-da.